It has been a while since the Dragon Ball Super anime finally concluded. I usually mention how terrible that anime is. In fact, from all the anime I have seen so far, Dragon Ball Super is by far the worst. Even the likes of Black Clover or the promotional anime Super Dragon Ball Heroes have more things that makes them worthwhile than any arc of Dragon Ball Super. I watched recently a few runs about the Tournament of Power arc because of an interesting video that got recommended to me called Rise and Fall of Tien. I thought ranting about various arcs of Super has been overdone and needs far more explaining than I usually put down on the topic. Instead, I thought I'd talk about what I consider the best arc of Dragon Ball Super, the so-called Universe 6 arc, or the Destroyer Tournament, and what people expected to be the Dragon Ball Multiverse that is for canon Dragon Ball. I mean, seriously, a tournament arc? Everyone loves those, and anyone has a moment to shine. And sadly, this is where the arc goes downhill. A big problem of this arc is that it has no stakes, and for that, no tension. What would have happened if Universe 7 loses? Planet Earth would move to Universe 6. That is not a big loss. In fact, it's more favorable in terms of storytelling if they lose, since the characters would lose access to those Namekian Dragon Balls, which may bring tension in future arcs. Other tournament arcs had much bigger stakes, which kept you engaged. You wanted Goku to win the tournament to surpass Roshi, which later turned out into Goku wanting the title of the strongest on Earth. And that is what Goku had passion for. The Piccolo Jr. arc especially had the fate of the Earth at stake. The Uranai Baba tournament was about a personal stake for Goku to get the last Dragon Ball. The tournaments in Z were pointless because they were interrupted or changed. There was one exception, and that is the Otherworld tournament, which would give Goku the privilege to train under the boss of the Kais, the Grand Kai. Considering King Kai taught Goku Kaioken and Spirit Bomb, you were hyped to know what kick-ass moves his boss could teach Goku. Super's tournament arcs felt like nothing. It felt like pointless filler to introduce more characters for games like Xenoverse 2 and Fighter Z. Were the fights at least entertaining? It's supposed to be a 5-team one-on-one match, but already a bunch of characters go out without even the fight starting. Gohan didn't even bother to come, which is not a big loss. Boo fell asleep, and the hyped up Monaco character is useless and apparently exists to motivate the main characters, which didn't need to happen because Goku and Vegeta are Saiyans who love fighting and builds, and these are already people they were motivated to surpass. The opposing team were worthless, as well as with the exception of Hit, the legendary assassin who looks like Cell if Cell was a purple dick. Some Winnie the Pooh guy gets thrown out the ring with ease by Goku, as the Frieza lookalike acts like a good guy, poisons Goku to win, only to be exposed by Jericho for cheating and trying the same with Piccolo, who would have lost regardless. That makes this awfully disappointing that all the people, some space patroller can see stuff like that being done. suddenly not Frieza casually explains why he's a bad guy and everything bad he has done. He could have made an excuse why he cheated instead of admitting that he is a pure evil, one-dimensional evil bad guy. This is one of the worst plot twists I have ever seen. Whatever. The father gets one-shotted by Vegeta because he got humiliated by Frieza last arc, and Goku is allowed to come back. The next fight was a little bit more impressive, but still annoying to watch. Some robot with lava inside made Vegeta in Super Saiyan struggle, and for some reason the Saiyan Prince refused to transform further to finish the fight immediately. It made no sense to waste this much time and energy on one dude, and the trend would continue with Cabba. And Goku and Vegeta were so strong that there was no need to add Piccolo into this arc. He got one fight and it was poorly animated and looked terrible. The other fights looked bad too and were pointless too. Vegeta vs Cabba made no sense to me. How can a nobody Saiyan challenge Vegeta in base form who trained under Whis? Even if Cabba went Super Saiyan, Vegeta should one-shot him and not be impressed by his power. In fact, there's no point in Cabba fighting in the first place. He was weaker than the lava bot, and saw how strong Vegeta was. Even if he is a Saiyan, he didn't act like a Saiyan. He should have been a Super Saiyan from the start and trained by Vados. But nope, we had to have Vegeta teach him how to turn Super Saiyan. If he were a spoiled brat with immense power, I think that would make work better for Vegeta, since he would have humbled him or something. Base his potential, he's just a Super Saiyan Turbo now. And then the last fight was against Hit, who effortlessly humiliated Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, only to make base form Goku look stronger, who kept up with Hit for a while. Goku even forced Hit to get more serious once he turned Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan himself. At the end, both lost by Goku just surrendering and Hit also surrendering, so Bills can expose his brother by wishing from the Super Dragon Balls for a planet Earth for him, something Champa could have done from the start, which makes this entire arc pointless. Also Senna appeared and announced another tournament arc, probably the only notable thing. And this is where I see a bunch of parallels between this arc and the Dragon Ball Z anime fillers Otherworld tournament. It is basically Kali, Paikuhan aka Paikon, and both were hyped up early on. Both defeated strong allies of Goku's team and both have some fearsome techniques. Goku used the Kaioken in a Super Saiyan form against them, which didn't amount to anything. Both were disqualified. In both arcs, the gods were having a bet against each other. In the Otherworld tournament, King Kai, who is the North Kai, would have been the slave of West Kai, while if the West Kai lost, he would let King Kai live on his planet. In this arc, Champa and Bills bet on the Super Dragon Balls. If Champa won, he would be allowed to wish the Earth from Universe 7 to Universe 6, and if Bills wins, he can have the Super Dragon Balls. And the Otherworld tournament was far more impressive. Goku hit his Super Saiyan form and most were fought against him, but it was interesting to watch him overcome various situations, like fighting against a fast enemy underwater, a caterpillar that tickled him to death, or some dinosaurs that they weren't good. But the fight against Paikon was the shit. It was far more engaging than the Universe 6 arc, because there was actually tension because of Goku's personal stake to get trained by the Grand Kai. Sure, we would figure out that this lazy asshole who didn't want to teach anyone and had to find an excuse to disqualify them, but that was really late during the story. The fights against Universe 6 were boring and uneventful. Vegeta had one cute moment with Kaba, which somehow made them bond to teacher and students without ever interacting ever since until the Tournament of Power arc for a brief moment. It had cool techniques, but only notable part of the fight was the Kaioken, which in the latest arc would be spammed, so it lost its specialness. However, in this arc, did the least amount of damage to Dragon Ball, and Vegeta cucked, but that had to happen. Characters didn't get disgraced too much. No ass pull was seen this arc, no huge flaws in terms of storytelling. Well, there was no story, but you get the point. The Super Dragon Balls were pointless, however, since they were there from the very beginning, no effort has been put to find them. Aside from Super not doing anything with those balls besides them being collected off screen, also time for stupid wishes regular Dragon Balls could have granted, minus the resurrection of all universes, but I think the Grand Priest could have done that too. And how could this arc have been written better? Well, for one, if there were actual stakes that mattered to the fighters. I don't know what those would have been, but honestly, if they recycled the Buu arc by letting the enemy appear in the middle of the arc, it would have been much more interesting, with Universe 7 having to team up with Universe 6 to expose it. And the fighters of Universe 6 could have been built up better. Did Champa really have some random Saiyan elite? Did he really believe some random Saiyan elite could beat Goku and Vegeta, who trained on Bill's planet? Champa should have been trained. Kaba should have been trained by Vados for at least a year and been able to transform to Super Saiyan Blue. Also act like a Saiyan. Perhaps Vegeta, when he came first to Earth, actually pushing Vegeta to a point where he had to handle the kid with his years of experience under the belt. Not Frieza could have kept his facade even upon first exposure with the backup plan to cripple the gods or something. But it's really hard to come up with something legitimate while two angels are around. Who could have been used as a measuring stick for how strong used Universe 6 fighters were by easily knocking him out of the ring. What else could have been done? Make the opponents into characters and not archetypes. Even King Champa from the original Dragon Ball had more characters than the fighters of the Universe 6 arc, and he got eliminated in the before making it to the what do we call it, quarterfinals. It didn't give me much hope for the Universal Survival arc or Tournament of Power, honestly. I don't remember anyone that wasn't an archetype in this arc of Super either. Perhaps Kefla, the Marisu Potara Fusion Saiyan. Well, there isn't much I can do with a tournament arc of that kind. I think they aren't worth it anymore. Maybe you have a different opinion. I await what you have to say. Overall, this is what Dragon Ball Super has. The best thing Dragon Ball Super has to offer. And it's an utter disappointment.